Hello and welcome to Hank's Place. The theme of Hank's Place in this new year is continue in the grace of God. Not only is grace through faith, Ephesians 2:8, the only way by which we can be saved, it's also the only way that we'll have the strength to stand in these wild days. Around us, it seems that the world is falling apart at its seams. In the Apostle Paul's day, similar issues. But Paul was not shaken. In Romans 1. Now, mind you, the Romans were a very sophisticated society, and Rome was a turbulent place back then. Well, Paul speaks of sharing the gospel with the wise and with the foolish, of sharing with all cultures. And there's Paul. For I am not ashamed of the gospel, he writes, for it is the power of God for salvation to everyone who believes. And he adds, for in it the righteousness of God is revealed from faith to faith. Romans 1:16-17. Now, dear friend, I don't know the culture or the society where you work and where you live, but by the grace of God, be strengthened and never be ashamed of the gospel. It is the power of God to save anyone who believes the message concerning God's Son and save eternally. And how is that righteousness of God revealed in the gospel? Well, first, that God is righteous, and that righteousness demands that sin be punished. Second, that God is love, and that love caused his Son to suffer and die at Calvary as our substitute. And third, that Christ's righteousness is imputed to us believers. Now, that's really, really good news. In spite of all this, men still foolishly deny the good news. They reject God's lordship over them. They deny God's very existence. They refuse to honor him, and in doing so, they're really missing the entire purpose of life. How foolish indeed. Let me ask you, are you afraid to share the gospel? Fear not in 2019, but continue in the grace of God. Just listen to the Holy Spirit on how to share and with whom. The experts, the qualified, those professing to be wise, they become fools, Romans 1:22, and it's their own doing. They live lonely, empty, lifeless lives. Can't tell it on the outside, but on the inside. So don't fear them. Perhaps you'll even have opportunity to share the good news with them. A wise man or a fool, your culture or a strange culture. If they believe and receive the good news that you share, they will come alive. Now, how grand is that?